1939 and Eastern Europe is in trouble. The expansionist ideas of both the USSR and the Third Reich had culminated in a Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, which would de-escalate tensions between the two and allow them to have free rein in Eastern Europe to expand their borders. On the 1st of September 1939, Germany invaded Poland, kicking off World War II. 2 weeks later, the Soviets invaded from the east. After weeks of fierce resistance from the Polish army, the country soon fell. The German advance through Poland had been much quicker than the Russians. To balance it out, the Nazis offered Stalin Lithuania, which Stalin agreed to. He then spent the next year bullying smaller nations into submission, demanding that they either cede territory or risk military action. However, there is one country that was able to hold its own against the mighty Red Army. That nation was Finland. Before the treaty was in effect, Stalin was worried about Germany using Finland as a way to invade Russia, not to mention the fact that the city of Leningrad, the center of communism itself, was near the Finnish border. Stalin could not bear the idea of a German attack on his people, as his forces were unprepared for a full-scale conflict. So he sent an ultimatum to Finland: give us 20 miles zero mortar, demilitarize it, and cede the islands of your coast as well. Finland said no to the offer, and both sides prepared for war. On the 30th of November 1939, the first set of Red Army forces crossed the border into Finland. In terms of strengths and weaknesses, both sides have many. The Finnish army, while very professional, lacked in both supplies and troops, not to mention that they didn't have air force or any tanks, so they were relying on infantry. The Red Army, whilst the largest in the world, was plagued by low morale and commanders who were not capable of running a war. Stalin's purchase of the 1930s caused the Red Army to become a shadow of its former self, an issue that would become much more problematic down the line. The Finnish and their guerrilla tactics had begun winning major victories over the Soviets. Using the well-known terrain and their white camels to their advantage, the Finns would slaughter countless Red Army troops throughout the war. Using skis, they would swiftly overwhelm Russian forces and take out their machinery and tanks with a new type of explosive called Molotov cocktails, named after the Soviet foreign minister. Simo Häyhä, nicknamed White Death, is recognized as one of the best snipers of World War II, as it was reported that he had a kill count of over 500 people. Stalin and the higher-ups of the Communist Party were horrified of these events and quickly set work to revamp Red Army behavior and tactics. Semyon Timoshenko was soon put in charge of the Russian forces and ordered more supplies to be put to the front lines. It was at this time that the Soviets began to turn the tide of the war in their favor. After 2 months of fighting, the Finns finally gave in, and a ceasefire was declared in February. In the end, the Finns only lost 11% of their territory, but the effects of the war would continue for decades. The weakness of the Red Army was put on full display for the world to see, and among other things, was the driving force for the German invasion of the USSR just a year later, making the war one of the most pointless endeavors of all time.